fourth and final, which is bittersweet because you've all developed unique styles along the way, and it's been a pleasure to share it with all of you and talk about it. And but just the beginning of great things ahead. So I see we've got uh, six artworks so far for the critique. So maybe, yeah, time being of the essence as it always is, we can just get started. I think we all know the drill at this point with the critique. 3 minutes looking at the work, taking some notes with the artist just at the side. The group coming together, discussing a bit about what we see in front of us, any symbolism, iconography, things that we like in the competition, and so forth, for another 3 minutes or so. Then bringing back the artist for one last time, just to kind of see if our comparison, what we were looking at, was accurate. So, with that in mind, oh wow, yeah, thank you, Estelle. Yeah, wow, great, load of works today. Um, so without further ado, I don't think we've gone through. If is hold up, yeah, Dana, is it okay if we go with you first? I don't think we've looked at your work yet.
Hello, did you mean me?
Yeah, sorry.
Hi.
Are we okay to go with your work first?
Yes, awesome, thank you.
Super. Okay. So just give me a moment, and I will share my screen. Dana, is it okay if you pasted the work in the group chat as well? Might just be good for the group.
Yes.
Thank you. And yeah, sorry, welcome. I don't think I've seen you in the cohort before, unless I'm mistaken, like in the critique. So welcome, welcome. It's great to have you. And wow, okay, this is detailed. Okay. So yes. So without, yeah, the link. Dana, would you mind pasting it in the residency voice channel? Ah, there we go. Grand. Thank you. Okay. So if everyone's okay, I'm going to give this 3 minutes, just taking some notes on what we see. Starting now. Okay. Do we have any initial thoughts?
Morning, Harry. Jerry here. Yeah, I'll kick in first.
Morning.
Nice to see something so totally different. Loved the way that there is embedded art there, which is prominent, but felt like iterations along the way to getting that final product, which probably isn't final yet. Um, Lots more in there than first met the eye when you glance at it. And really liked the effect of the video lines that again, denoted digital art and a work in progress. Really loved it.
Thank you. Yes, so uh, talking about that digital composition, and there's more meeting the eye. I have to say these kind of smaller details really caught my attention. Um, Whether they were, as you say, some grades as like a focus point or not. Um, I think they're just very beautiful, like here, for example. And this pattern, I particularly, it's almost like it to me. It looks a bit like a digital fabric of sorts. Um, let's see. So Pavel says, yeah, it's just like what we've agreed. It's a digital glitch, a CMYK separation, and the analog being digital scan lines. And yeah, Emily, yeah, there's so much to look at with all these superimposed layers. Um, so Altman says perhaps it's got some Japanese landscape influence, especially in the long portrait shape. Interesting point. I like the contrast between the sharp RGB glitch and the natural green forms. I wonder which is on top of which. I suspect nature wins the day. Interesting, because I thought it was also foliage, like foliage. Some kind of I'm wondering if that's like some kind of symbolism there, like digital versus nature or an amalgamation of sorts. Thank you, Nominal, for the lovely feedback. So it's interesting to see digital focus work from you. Massive fan of your work, so I'm coming from that place of familiarity. I love that I can see the kind of lines and forms that I've seen as foundational in your more minimal gestural works. Mountains, land, sky, and the merging of all of them. I feel a sense of the digital taking over the physical, with the color box pixelization boxing around the natural imagery in the center. Um, it feels like the nature is trying so hard to find a way through the screen, and I'm curious about the intention behind moving to this hyper-digital feel from minimalist gestural works. Interesting. So Nominal observes a shift in direction from Dana, which is interesting. Is it? And the way that Nominal has spoken about, like, yeah, mountains, land, sky, and um, I tried looking at it, just kind of cocking my head a bit, but I'm not sure. I feel like I could see maybe clouds, but that's not what I got on first impression, which is interesting. Um, Pavel responds, "I'm wondering what is the underlying image, if it's a single piece which has been glitched and multiplied, and how many images are actually used." And yeah, this would be interesting. Yeah, the process that has been deployed to making this work. Uh, Emily responds, "If it were a different color, not green, would we be thinking so much about nature?" That is an excellent point again, Emily. So yeah, I mean, green is a instant association with nature, and I agree. I think if it were inverted, it wouldn't have half the effect. And I'd be interested to know if this is in fact nature. We all seem pretty confident um, with that subject matter. Um, Estelle replies, "Sometimes I feel like everything boils down to nature. I love how this one keeps pushing the limit between digital and analog, with the separations and constant reminder of how images are formed." Now that you've mentioned that, Estelle, when you look really closely into this work, let me find a good maybe around here, like this bit. I'm thinking like I'm seeing a golden section somehow, and everything's spiraling out of one point. Maybe that's something to consider, because there is so much detail everywhere with the subject of nature. You think it's a mountain, Anton? Interesting. It could be, yeah, it could be a mountain. Okay. So, okay, so we've got some good feedback so far. Dana, would you mind letting us know what your intentions were with this piece?
Yes, thank you all for the feedbacks and the attention on the piece. Well, this started with a watercolor. So as Noumenal was saying, I am pretty much a physical artist. And I only have one collection where I started to mix with some digital things. But this is the first time I do something thinking on glitch art. And I was doing that because I had in my head something that Björk said on an interview, that nature is also technological in a way. So that's the idea behind the piece. So trying to maybe think that both things are the same, and that's why I was mixing both. So that's my research at the moment, trying not to think both things as something separate, and trying to think technology the most positive way that I can, because also, there's a lot of, I don't know, things saying about nature is good and technology is bad. And I think, yeah, they're both part of the same. So I started researching a little bit about glitch, and was doing some tests on Photoshop with this watercolor. And I think I have a real glitch problem, and I don't know, something happened with my computer, and so the background is something I wasn't planning. So when I saved the image I was working on, when I saved the glitch of the watercolor, I got this final. So I have like loads of these images, like the one in the background, because this error, I think, on my computer. So I start to mix them both, because it's a process. I was interested in your feedback, because I'm not sure about the piece.
No, thank you, Dana. I mean, from what you said, it sounds like we have a good sense of what your intentions were with this piece.
Yes.
It's really cool how when who was it that asked about the process again? Yeah, Pavel. Yeah, it's like it's a found object essentially. The glitch watercolor that you've made. So yeah, I think it's pretty accurate to what we thought it was, and it's interesting to hear that you have so many of them, like so many of
Yes,
these.
exactly. So for the background, I have like, I think I could keep saving them. I hope, like every time I move my computer screen, I got a new image.
Hmm.
So I
That
was
is
saving it as a
interesting. And
yes.
that in itself is, at least, I mean, to me, like a natural occurrence, like it's unintentional. And yeah, just fascinating. Um,
And
and yeah,
the watercolors, they were mountains. So some of the
oh, right. Super,
they were
super.
true.
So um, that's great. That's great to hear. Dave says it's great when it's truly a glitch. Yeah. Carolina would love to see it blown up. And You know, when you were talking about the mountains, actually, Dana, who was it that said it looked a bit like a Japanese landscape with it being portrait? I thought that point was interesting.
Yeah, I have a lot of that in mind. As Norman was saying, I usually do like minimal things. So I use a lot like white on my paintings, like this, just the space. So yeah, I have a lot of influence in that way.
Super. Okay. So just a tiny bit more feedback from the group. Nominal thinks it's a fabulous project and the glitching aspect is very cool. Would love to see your hand or gesture laid over it or integrated, some kind of back and forth with your different processes if you're interested in exploring the process more. You know, I'm thinking Nominal, just based on your work as well from last time, maybe there's some scope there before the end of the residency? A collab maybe?
Yeah.
Might be fun. Um,
So what she's referring is to keep working on top of this. That's what I understand.
yeah, that's what I get as well. Um, yeah, it could be
I
interesting.
can unmute. I just have some background noise. Yeah, Dana. I guess just thinking about how I want like more of, and again, this is just because I'm so familiar with your work, but I want like more of your hand, like woven into the technology somehow. And I'm happy to, if you want, we can DM about this later too. I'd be happy to dive in and see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, actually. Yeah, love it.
Delightful. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I think without further ado, thank you, Dana. That was a wonderful start to the session.
Thank you all so much.
And thank you for sharing. You know, it's really cool what you've achieved with this piece.
Thank you, and I will read all the comments. So thank you.
And okay, so I think if everyone's okay with the next artist, Dave, I saw your work in the chat. Second, would you mind if we went with you next? Cool. I will just. Yeah, so everyone, it's just in the 6th cohort group chat, so I think you should be good to access it. But if not, then I can always copy paste you a link if you'd prefer. In fact, I might just do that. There we go. Okay, so the next piece for this evening is Dave's. I think it's a work in progress. I think it's a work in progress. 3 minutes starting now. Okay, so yeah, it's great to I'm loving seeing Carolina and Anton jump in with some great comments here. It does feel like photography meets post-page layouts. It's intriguing, this composition of this work. It does feel like you're looking at a furniture promotional magazine of sorts. I've not seen the movie The Langoliers actually, so I need to see it. But good cultural reference. Altnon comments, I think I've been in this waiting room getting David Lynch. Interesting. Interesting. I'm interested in what the monkeys are hiding from. I love the magazine frame. And what's that circle at the bottom? Yes, I have all the same questions. Great questions, Altnon. Thank you. Nominal comments. I love thinking of this as an abstract image of an installation pasted into a notebook and imagining walking around the physical objects assembled as shown. Plushiness of the chairs, the smoke as some kind of captured aerosol. The feeling of documentation is interesting, and I approach it as a removed, in a sense, which is interesting. The center feels like the protagonist of this overall situation, as if they're remembering the day as a calamitous fever dream. They feel in isolation, anxious, concerned. What happened to them? Why are there monkeys? Where do they live? Seems like AI to me, so extremely curious what the prompt was. This does feel like a fever dream. That was the first impression that I got. It feels like a fever dream, and the monkeys hiding, and I found like the presence of the clock an interesting factor. I think of it as something as like a comment on domestic living somehow. And these subjects, I wonder, are they dying? Are they dead? I mean, these guys look pretty dead. This person certainly looks dead, and it feels kind of like there's an alien or a larger being with this orb that's emitting smoke, like the aerosol. And I feel like it has some kind of comment on domestic or contemporary culture that way. Emily comments, this is an intriguing image. What the heck happened? I love how my head is spinning, trying to create a narrative. Alien invasion, chemical weapon attack, movie viewing gone wrong. I suppose the animals crouching beneath chairs are sole survivors. What were they watching? How would this piece look different if they weren't a clock? If there wasn't a clock in the mirror or a mirror? And those spheres, I love how this piece is making me wonder. Yeah, it does feel like an alien invasion. And yeah, interesting comment, Emily. How would this piece look different if there wasn't a clock in the corner or a mirror? I know that Dave pasted the image above, but let's just pretend we didn't see that. It is interesting to comment though what these elements symbolize. Dana comments, it makes them think of cinema, some story going on with so many questions. Sungrazers follows up with, we're all thinking about movie scripts. I'm deeply into the Black Mirror series this week. First 3 episodes are good, not too keen on the last 2. Despite the happy colours, this feels very dark. Another cultural thing, a British thing, I love this series Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I think these kind of colours, this palette and the kind of surrealism of it all makes me think of that. And Estelle comments, I want to make a subscription to this magazine. I do too. Such an awesome work. I'm in love with those spreads. Oh, okay. I'll comment in a sec. Damn, so cool that you posted the original here. I love all kinds of worlds sitting in chairs. That really gives an image of different islands waiting in the same therapist waiting room. The fact that it's a spread, it gives another level in this waiting room line of thinking. Yeah, I think there's an element of stepping out of the composition for a second. Like, this is something that we're looking at, but what is going on around us as well? That comment, Estelle, is very interesting. Yinga comments that it reminds her of the scene in Nope, which I haven't seen actually, but And oh, cool, Dave. So the show was called. I'm just gonna type it. You should check it out. It's called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It's like um, it's like figurines, like innocent kid figurines, but they've been. You just have to watch it. It's so good, so good. Alt knows. Um, so yeah. Wow, this has been a fascinating work to study this week, and so different from your work from last time, Dave. Like, just amazing, really. Um, would you mind telling us all about it?
Yeah, of course. Thanks. That's all really great feedback, everybody. Yeah, I mean, like, so I put the reference image in. Like, I've been working on. I've made about like 20 of these in this style, which is like working from a book of like designer office furniture from 1984. And they all have like they're all like beautiful settings to begin with, and then I'm sort of like haunting them with AI interventions. So I'm using the Photoshop generative features that they have now. And a lot of it's like a lot of the content is like I'm starting with like historically prolific like symbols from still lives and things like that. So I've been using like a lot of I don't know. It's like fruit and clocks and food and books and things like this. And then so it's like starting there, but then it's sort of like reacting to what the AI model gives me back and like what is like funny or interesting or strange. Also like the limits of what it gives you. Like so maybe I'll just start with you were saying like you're like, are these people dead or something? Like so for example, like you can't say dead or anything violent or even like close to that in the Photoshop AI, at least how it is now, where it prevents you from generating anything. So I started just writing like sleeping. So I'd be like sleeping monkey, sleeping person, sleeping. So that's how I end up with like so many sleeping figures. Like not necessarily that I want them to be dead, but I'm trying to like I'm like, how close can I get to like real life issues with it or something? So in a lot of the furniture, I put like sleeping people, and then like the way that it's reacting to certain, I'm playing with like ephemeral things like light and fog and mist, and sometimes like I don't exactly understand how it works, but like once you accept a result that it gives you for something, it'll keep like going with that thought. They're like, oh, like I did this correctly, like the way this person wanted me to use it or something. So like this figure in the middle that looks like maybe like Carrie or something, like that's kind of how I saw it, like in the mist. The prompt was just mist, and it put the figure in there, and I was like, wow, that's like so beautiful and incredible. And then it like if you write mist again, like it's like, oh, it means like a weird ghost like in the mist or something like that. So like a lot of them that I've been doing, I'll kind of just like pick a weird, like a word that doesn't necessarily like could be like attached to like an object or something, and then keep reusing it over and over again, and it sends it off into like a weird spiral of thinking. Yeah.
Wow.
I was laughing at Sungrazer's comment too. So the clock, yeah, without any like real meaning to it, but yeah, I like that it really like enforces like the waiting room thing. I was trying to think of like things yeah, like what has meaning in still lives, or like how can objects like add meaning to an image. The time itself isn't that important to me, other than it's like it's almost midnight, which is also kind of scary and impending doom or something. Yeah, and some of the orb things, I think it started with, honestly, I wrote like peaches suspended in pectin or something, and it gave me kind of like a UFO looking thing. And then I kept going with that. So yeah, so a lot of it, like how it's created is, and then like the thing with the mirrors as well is like I like seeing, like it really does try to create like a reflection of like what's happening sometimes. So I'm like, I think that's really fun to play with, like light, mist, fog, smoke. Although you can't write smoke because smoke is violent or a drug or something. So it's finding other ways, like I don't know, like working in the margins to create like maybe interesting images that maybe they don't want you to create. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that seems to be the number one thing that artists like to do with with AI at the minute. Just trying to make it do something it shouldn't. And
Right.
yeah, just interestingly, 'cause just whilst Carolina's commenting, I see a kind of familiarity. This piece, from what you described, Dave, it feels so intentional. Like the subject matter is so, like everything feels like it's been composed in a particular manner, but it's completely experimental from what I gather. Um, I was thinking maybe there's some kind of scope with Carolina in this regard. I see this as being very intentional, but it's generative. It's kind of come out of a prompt.
Well, I would say the composition is intentional because it's like I'm each little part, I'm placing there, and I like extended or like outpainted the image or whatever, like to make it, to make a bigger canvas and things like that. So that, let's say, yeah, like all of and everything, like, yeah, the prompts are kind of like micro prompts and then like prompts on top of prompts and stuff like that. So I mean, like it's kind of like it's probably like 80 different prompts or something in this image. And it takes a long time. Like it's sort of like it's having like a long conversation with like a kind of insane alien, which is like that's like when working with AI feels the best or something.
Well, that is interesting because it's an alien language, shall we say, and combining that with what people have said about this being like maybe a sentient being taking over humanity, or what I said about death. It's interesting. I don't think we've been really approached with this before. Just having this kind of language, visual language, imposed on us, and us not really understanding why. But let's just have a look at Sungrazer's comment. Yeah, following off from Carolina's catastrophe, I was beginning to feel a bit like seeing wartime images of people gathered below the ground in the tube while something rages overhead. That's a fascinating analogy, Sungrazers. I don't know. Could you elaborate more?
I'm too lazy to type, and my fingers are full of toast at breakfast time. But yeah, it's something to do with everybody being leveled in one place. So all of these animals and people and the bride and the guy who's asleep and the other guy who's perhaps asleep or dead or doing something else lying on the floor there. it feels like, if they were above ground, that they would be all pursuing completely different ways of life. But that this event, in the case of wartime in London, it was the Blitz, and everybody went to a place of safety, which was down in the underground in the tube, and they were all gathered there together for some hours while they waited for the Blitz to stop overhead, and I just felt that it had a sort of feeling of that, and the mirror with the smoke or steam coming from it was kind of the overhead activities impinging down into what would otherwise be this place of safety.
I feel that, yeah. I mean, as you say that too, like I think of like this was not as peaceful at all, but like Katrina in the Superdome, like as people were waiting as like an evacuation site. Yeah, just people being kind of forced to exist or live in like a liminal like waiting space. And also
Dave,
just
that's a really, really interesting analogy, because I was there for that, and I think you were soon afterwards, and you've hit upon it. It's much more like the Superdome than it is the London Underground. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird. I mean, it's
This
kind
is
of
fascinating.
like interesting, like presenting it with you guys, because like I would probably like never say that or like present it in New Orleans for sure. But like here in like a more like neutral space, it feels like okay. But even I guess like if you wanted to hear just my narrative interpretation, like as I make it, like I think it is unnerving. I totally agree with all you guys like thoughts or like relations to certain movies and stuff, and it feels like all the movies that you brought up or shows are also like kind of winking and have like an element of like humor. Like I think this is sort of funny. I don't really think of everyone as being dead. I think of them, this machine or something is like blowing, like the Sandman, like blowing smoke or something, making everyone sleep in this space. And that could be maybe a good thing if you're forced to like spend a long time in like the DMV, like waiting for your number to be called or something. And the monkeys are like the more primitive version of us, which are still awake, maybe, or like hiding from the smoke machine. Whereas like the more evolved ones of us are like volunteering to go to sleep.
Wow. Okay, that sounds. It sounds. I don't know if it sounds morbid or calming, but like that's interesting, Dave. So I think it's been great to talk this work out with everyone here, and everyone like you say, making analogies to films that they've seen. I think there's something. It's fascinating. I mean, especially with Photoshop's new tool, how much you can achieve with a work, and how much kind of like almost like generative like symbolism you can just make, and things that you can look into. So I think with that said, it's just fascinating. It's just fascinating, and thank you for sharing this with us. Mind blowing work, and yeah, exactly, Pavel.
Thanks everyone so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, so the next work today is Anton. Do you mind if we go with you next?
Yeah, I would love to.
Super. Okay. Ooh, okay, interesting. I'm just going to paste this into the chat as well.
Yeah, please, everyone, if you can, just open it on your devices, and it also when you refresh, it will be new all the time. So have fun.
Thank you. Okay, so Anton's work, 3 minutes, starting now. Okay, so I can see that people are enjoying this already. Dana comments, they could be watching all day. It's a meditation. It does have that very calming effect on the eyes. I love it. Like deep hues, deeply saturated and pulling out from what looks to be the top in the center. Yes, Rothko Green. Yes, yes. That's what I thought immediately. I thought Mark Rothko and abstract expressionism. Sungrazer's comments is very sensual. I saw lips, then an eye, then other bits. Interesting. Emily comments that she really enjoyed it. It's very soothing and transporting, like entering a religious or meditative chordscape. Yeah, interesting how you describe it as a mind massage, because it just, as I know, it's the gradient, just seems to drag you closer. Um, and then Dave comments that this is like the divine breath, which is a very interesting analogy. Yeah, and then Altnon comments, I really want to see this as a large installation. It's sometimes meditative, sometimes emotional, quite all-encompassing. So yeah, with that in mind, Altnon, I think of, yeah, with Mark Rothko, how people have like an emotional reaction to his work. I think of this in that same vein. I think at times when I look at it, I don't know, I feel kind of entranced, or just kind of really taken in my being as a subject by looking at it. So Nominal follows up by saying, yeah, interesting with Eliasson and James Turrell come to mind. I just want to sit with the changing colors and soak it all in, meditate on the slow changes. I feel it could be even more, a little slower to be truly meditative. It feels just a touch faster than a contemplative, a touch faster than being contemplative, which is interesting. What captures Nominal's attention is the line that goes through the field and out. It feels like the shadow line on the place where a wall meets the floor. And that's fascinating. Am I watching a theatrical light performance? Perhaps. The place where things meet is really doing it for me and makes me incredibly curious. Thank you, Nominal. Again, I mean, yeah, interesting point about Eliasson, and how people kind of just walk through his work. And this, again, this has that same kind of effect. It's experiential. It warps our sense of space, our sense of, at least to me, my sense of time. We feel meditative in looking at it. So interesting kind of curatorial edge going on here. Thank you, Yinga, for the feedback. It feels like it's breathing and looking into me. I'd love to hear some generative music added to this. Maybe some sort of binaural beats or similar simple sounds. Yeah, like generative music, perhaps. So it's cool that we've got some feedback as well, in the form that maybe it could be a touch slower, and maybe it could have some kind of generative audio to follow. Pavel comments, they wanted to test on mobile, and I must say it's a completely different experience depending on the device and colors. Interesting, very Terrell. Colors flooding the room, filling it with light. Some are calming, meditative, others disturbing and unsettling. There are also some that are transcendent. Thank you for doing the diligence of checking on your phone as well, Pavel, because that's very interesting. If you can get a different experience entirely, then that makes the work all the more immersive. Oh, okay. Yeah. Go and project the work on your living room wall, Yinga. I'd be interested to see how that goes. Dave comments, I know we've also talked about Terrell a lot, but it really does remind me of my personal experience encountering his pieces in real life. Like, I'm reminded of waking up early to go see the sunrise in a Skyhold chapel. Wow. So very, very strong analogy to Terrell here. Which, you know, I mean, we'll give it a few more. I'll read a few more comments, and then yeah, we'll bring in Anton. Filippo comments, another mind-blowing work. Feels like I've just discovered some alien light being, which reminds me of Pavel's work, actually. I thought this kind of had that kind of air about it with the light and the AR element. Thank you, Filippo. Sometimes reminds me of the work of Anish Kapoor, when the dark void appears. 5 screens, Pavel. 5. That's crazy. Ooh. Okay, and then I think Emily comments one last. I mean, Dana comments, love an installation with it. Emily comments, may I lie down in a room like the Tate atrium with this projected huge on the ceiling, please? Okay, so I'm not going to poke around anymore. Anton, could you let us know what your work is about?
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. So I feel ecstatic right now for all of the kind words you said. It's amazing. So yeah, my work, like someone said, yeah, it's kind of trance or meditative. This is what I do with colors. It just it's all coming from my like I try to moderate my own mood and emotional how I feel with colors and sounds. It's all kind of started from there, and I've been working, and yeah, so this work is basically about trying to meditate on color, stay calm, and just to relax, forget about all the thoughts and all the things that's going on, and all of the things that you've been commenting. It's all, I think this is all I wanted to achieve with this work. I tried to kind of come back to my original works that I've started doing, that is pure color without any forms. And so there are 4 different palettes of colors. One is consists of my favorites, like reds, oranges, like really bright red shades. The other one consists of completely random colors that are generated every time randomly, and 2 palettes are decorated for background. It is like really light shades and some dark shades, and they are all yeah, so they are picked randomly. There is also sometimes it's moving, sometimes the color like going in different directions, but I tried to keep it minimal and simple, just to let the color and changes of it just kind of make a full effect on the person that is watching. And I'm really glad that you liked it, and I feel like it's been successful. Yeah, but also, like what Numinal said, I was really wondering about the speed of the changing, and yeah, thank you so much, because I also feel like sometimes it's moving too fast, kind of feel sometimes really like not meditative enough. Yeah, so yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anton. Yeah, I have to say it's left us all feeling very calm and relaxed. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, as you say, from nominal, just maybe just a tiny dial down, just on the speed. But I think it's interesting just the kind of analogies that have been made for this work, and how just it kind of changes the mood depending on what device you use to look at it with. So yes, yeah, it's been very enjoyable And it's very effective in its composition. So good luck. This is excellent work, I have to say. Nice. Okay, so I think we can move on to our next artist. We might be able to get through two if we're lucky. I think maybe this might. Yeah, but let's try and go for two. So I think Carolina, would you like to go next? Cool. Oh, don't worry, Filippo. It's just like a little audio feedback loop there. Super. Okay, so I think I'll just load Carolina's work now, and I will copy paste the link in the chat. There we go. It has been a vacation, and Anton, I need a vacation. Thank you. Give that a like. Okay, so I'm just going to be clicking through, if that's okay, and hopefully you guys can check it out as well on your screens. But yeah, so 3 minutes, Carolina's work, starting now. Oh, actually, has Altman, sorry, before we begin, yeah, Altman, have you had a critique yet? I feel like no, it's okay, no, it's all right. I think, I can't remember. Not yet. Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, okay. Carolina, would you mind if we went with Altman next? I'm really sorry. Like,
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Yes, sorry. I was chewing when you asked me something before, but yeah.
sorry. Thank you so much. Okay. Um, Ether. Okay. So, right. You two next. You two next. Excuse me. My brain is a bit slow today. All right. So I'm just going to send Altnon's link first, and Ether, we will get to you. We will get to you after this one. So, Altman's work, 3 minutes, starting now. Okay. So what are people's initial thoughts on this one? I can jump in. Yes, thank you, Anton. It feels very light and gentle, like air. Yeah, I think that's down to these opacity layers. They're all very thinly layered on top of each other. I find that to be quite interesting. Wow, thank you guys. This is cool. Lots of feedback already. Emily comments, it looks like a daydream. My thoughts are sometimes orderly, like the script in the top right corner. Yes, interesting. Mostly loose, like the scribble on the bottom left, and as the images fade, where am I? Love all the textures and compositions, and as always, I want to know more about the process, please. Nominal comments, Tower of Babel vibes right off the bat. Fascinating. Babel. I've been doing all sorts of looking into Babel recently. A notebook where someone is grasping at translation. The gestural strokes feel big and expansive and even have a quality of sound and volume to them. The ratio is awesome for the piece because my eyes are darting around back and fro and it feels so expansive. Really love what feels like deep layering. Gotta love layering. And adds a deep sense of time as well. Note for web experience, that is I just lost it there. That is kind of interesting. When you zoom in on the piece, it takes up the screen, but you can also see the text on the edges if the screen is large enough. Yes, I mean, you can see that. I think that's unintentional, but it is interesting incorporating that pragmatic approach. Dave comments the composition is really interesting and it has a unique sense of gravity for him. Thank you, Dave. Ether comments, I love the tension between the dotted paper and the asemic glyphs and strokes. It heightens the sense of freedom and colouring outside the lines. Yeah, so interesting. Thank you, Ether. These dots, I'm not sure. I'm wondering if they're paper or some sort of printing bed of sorts. I'm just thinking back to when I used to do screen printing. It feels like that is what it would look like if you had a silk screen and you layered it on top of a printing bed. And yes, there is a definite sense of freedom that goes with this. Anton comments, every detail is so delicate, so I feel like I'd break them if I touch them. Which is true. I mean, like if we look at these, I find like these interesting contours of what appears to be type, or like the leftovers of type from someone else, maybe. Yeah, it does feel very delicate. Yeah, like residue of some kind, like creative residue. Carolina comments, unusual colors, feels very tropical. She loves the dot grid and the outline typography, of course. It feels like tracing paper layers, but I assume it's 100% digital. Yeah, so I think, I'm not convinced it's, oh gosh, it's so hard to tell, isn't it? I mean, it does and it doesn't feel like it's 100% digital. I feel like this bit has been superimposed halfway. I think this has been a digital piece made into a physical piece, made into a digital piece again. Filippo comments, it gives them a sense of calmness, like in Japanese paintings. Loves the contrast between physical and digital mark making. Cool. Interesting. So we are all with this work, we're all interested in how it's made. We're interested in what the process is and what it represents. So yeah, just fascinating. Everything's so delicate and gentle. So Altnon, would you mind telling us all about it?
Yes, of course. Yeah, process is what I've been focusing on this residency, so I'm glad you picked that up. um, I'm interested in language and conversation, so this is one from a series I'm working on, which are transcripts of conversations. They're conversations between myself and ChatGPT. Harry, earlier you said there's a trend for getting AI to do things it shouldn't do. Well, I was trying to engage it with on the subject of disinformation here. I was trying to get it to give me examples and to actually conjure up some disinformation I could use. And obviously, it doesn't like that at all. It's very much there are ways and means of getting in through the back door a little bit. But it was a conversation essentially between myself and it. And whilst it was going on, I'm cutting and pasting the quotes I like and typesetting them, and that is the text you see that you said looks like it was left from someone else. The broken letter forms. That's the AI quotes, and the rest of it was my reaction. My reactions are obviously not my thoughts. My reactions, semic thoughts. This piece was quite light. It was quite light-hearted because we went off topic because essentially I guess AI is only as good as the user that's using it, and my mind wandered and we ended up telling each other jokes, and I think that probably comes across a little bit in this one. So the type is typeset and then broken into vectors and sort of smashed a bit in the background, and then it is layered as a few people have mentioned. It's some of this is physical writing, some of it was done on my phone and scanned in. The dots are from a dot pad. I've been a lettering artist as well in my past, and the dot pad was something I used to use to get letters correct. Obviously, I'm not using it for the same purpose anymore. Within this, there's the other elements of what I was using at the time. So there's paper in there. The big blue rectangle is actually my sketchbook, which I'm using for this residency. And what I don't think anybody has mentioned is right in the middle of this is what is on it's what's on the front of my notebook, which is a sticker of the VerticalCrypto, which just happened to be there. And in the left-hand side, there's my pencil, there's some tape. So there are lots of physical elements as well as digital elements, and I'm layering them up, including creases, tears, using them as compositional devices, essentially. The colours sometimes grow out of it. If you apply enough filters, not filters, just layers basically, and play with them, certain colours will come out of, I'm scanning black and white, but it's never true black and white. There's always a bit of colour in there, and you play with them and colours start to come out, and I pick out colours. And the yellow came from the pencil. So that's essentially what it is. It's a transcript. I know it doesn't look like a transcript, but to me, I see a transcript of a conversation.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like a visual transcript. It's what I found. One of the first impressions I got on was that this work is playful, and it's great to hear that you're having fun with ChatGPT. And I'm glad that Dave jumped in here, and his expression of like jokes being transcribed into like a different language using this technology. I'm actually wondering if there's any scope for a collaboration between you guys based on your methods. Like, I think that might be interesting to explore.
Interesting.
Yeah, really, really fascinating, and it's interesting to see what people have looked at this for. Interesting. I mean, like again with Nominal talking about Babel. I think that's a very interesting comparison. I think it's interesting also how use of this technology prompts the most almost intense reactions out of people. Like everyone has a different view on this thing, this language that we don't quite fully understand. Like Emily said, it feels like a daydream as well. Yeah.
Someone mentioned time as well. And time is always a big part with what I do. I think I have a bit of a street art background, and I guess you can perhaps see a bit of this could almost be a bit of a street art wall with paste ups and layers of paint and plaster wearing off a little bit. So that's a bit subconscious, but I guess that's always there. But within that there's time, because you have slowly eroded walls, and what I've got is slowly eroded rectangles, like with layering processes, and then you also got the fast street art tags on a wall, and in this instance my handwriting, which is far too fast. So some of this takes a long time, some of it's really quick. So yeah, time is always interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I think given what you've just said, Altman, this does feel like it's an effective piece with what you're trying to get at. Yeah, thank you for sharing this with us. It is fascinating also these hidden details that you've added, like the vertical. I did not notice that, to be fair. I should have though. Interesting transcript you have created. So I think thank you very much. It's been great to see your work and to critique it. Sorry, it's become. I mean, yeah, to both Ether and on that. It's taken me this long to get to you guys.
No worries. Thank you everyone for it. It's really interesting. I'm making notes here.
Super. So in that case, yeah, again, apologies, Ether, for the miscommunication on my part. Carolina, are we okay to go with your work to conclude the session?
Sure. Wasn't there somebody else that needed to go before me though? I thought there was. But up to you guys if you want to.
I think it. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it was Ether, but I should have communicated with them on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, up to you guys. I'm fine with it. Or Emily is saying maybe she has something.
Let's have a look. Okay, well maybe Emily. Does that sound okay? We could go with you if you'd like. Cool. I will send you guys a link, and then we'll call it the session of the evening. Yeah, and like Yinga mentioned before, with your sessions on Fridays, there's always the chance to feedback with each other and how works look and how you feel about them. So yeah, there's always an opportunity to have a critique. Okay. So with all that spiel out of the way, last artwork of the critiques, I'm afraid, but 3 minutes starting now.
One thing, it's really best to open it on your own and play with it, stop and start it and refresh the page. Probably much better than watching Harry.
Okay, yes, please. Thank you.
And also the idea is that you would stop it to take in the view at various points, and then it will start again when you click on it again.
Got it. No problem. Sorry, I was just reading the chat. Okay. Thank you, Emily, for sharing this work. And it took me a few times, but I got it. What do we think about this one?
Oh, can I say just
Yeah, yeah.
I love this piece. I've seen it before on Emily's Twitter profile. I was absolutely amazed. Spent some time with this piece on her website. I feel it's really cool. I like how it's really interactive and not boring to watch. I love how this effect comes up when you stop it, and I feel it's really beautiful. It really reminds me of these moments when you ride in a train and just watching how the urban backgrounds go in the window. Yeah, I feel it's really cool. I like the new colors. Yeah, it's awesome, Emily. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for that feedback, Anton. Yeah, it's just beautiful. I mean, Nominal agrees. It does feel like you're going on a train journey. I feel like this work has, whilst it is flat, it's got a lot of depth. And just with 3 palettes, you can achieve so much, which I find particularly interesting. So Nominal reads it as meditative in a different way than they experience Anton's work, which is interesting. It reminds you that your life is moving by so very quickly, and it feels like you have no control, but you can stop, breathe, and look around at the details. And the details are wonderful. I like stopping and starting it over and over and having that feeling of being propelled and then being frozen. Curious about the conceptual basis for the work and how you decided on using the sort of curved swooping shapes. Really fantastic overall. Yes, so the process is interesting. The shapes are interesting too. I'm just thinking, yeah, it just really gets you curious, like you feel like they're just based on kind of like maybe like some kind of film that has been used to, I don't know, manipulate this kind of image we're seeing before us, but I don't know. Filippo comments, love the depth which is created, really gives a sense of traveling on a train, and I love that. And I can take snapshots of my journey. So that's interesting, yeah, just reading what's up top. Right-click save if you'd like a travel pic, a memento of sorts. And like every journey is different. And you can recall it as such by taking a picture. The palette gives you a different story each time. Yeah, just really delicious. Altnon comments, it's the best train journey they've ever been on. Time seems important here. Love how it starts slowly, and it's quite meditative and beautiful. Yeah, so interesting comment about the speed. That does a lot for this work. Like it starts gradually and then it moves into this kind of quick pace. Carolina comments, it reminds her of how of riding on the high-speed train and seeing reflections in the window mixed with the landscape outside zooming by. Fascinating, Carolina. I'm thinking back to, I think it was like a fortnight ago when you showed us your work of empty landscapes. Maybe there's some scope there for discussion. Just interesting. And I think even the palettes are kind of similar between you guys. Which, yeah, yes, there's got to be something there. Pavel comments, it's a great piece. It actually reminds them of hours spent on trains traveled as a student. Great palettes. The shapes are great. Reminds them a lot of landscapes. So a great appreciation so far of the craft in this work. Oh my God, please get some sleep, Pavel. 20 hours. Go to bed. Carolina comments, I like how it can feel like it's speeding up or slowing down, the way things are close to the window, and they go by faster as opposed to things moving away. that's interesting as well. So there's definitely a sense of depth, spatial elements being included here, which, oh gosh, I mean, there's just so much you can do with this. I mean, Pavel comments again, I wonder if it'd be possible to slow it down before the stop. I mean, like a smoother stop. Maybe that's some kind of feedback that can be taken from this as well. Maybe, yeah, just like a journey can start, but it can also stop. Dana comments, they love the chance to interact with the piece and the aesthetic is beautiful. Also makes them think on something industrial and meditative at the same time. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, if we pause, all of these shapes are quite intersecting, structured, which does feel very industrial. I think because the colors are flat as well, definitely leans to that sense of things being made out of wire and just really interesting. Yeah, Dave comments parallax, which is interesting as well. I'm just going to give a few more minutes just to get some last feedback, and then we'll check in with Emily. So Anton comments, amazing static, amazingly animated, and cool interaction. So yeah, and then in fact, I think, yeah, maybe this is a good time after, because we've all got a sense of that we're on a train. We've all got the sense there's a depth being applied here. We all kind of love the colors that are going on. And Pavel comments, just realized the smooth stop might completely mess up the snapshot. So basically no idea, or as I say in reference to generative art, why not both? Sometimes it stops rapidly, sometimes smoothly. Interesting. I think maybe you're right, actually. Maybe from our point of view, having it pause is enough. I feel it might be subjective. Anyway, we've spoken quite a lot. Emily, could you tell us all about it?
Thanks so much. It's so much. It's so nice to have feedback. So strange when you're sort of working on something intensely and nobody sees it. So thank you. And the concept behind this piece came off of a journey that I took with my daughter, and it was actually a 5-hour journey on a train from New York to Vermont. And I just wanted to stop time. So it was a sense of life fleeting, just whizzing by, and wanting to sort of grasp onto it. And I guess people use the word intentional a lot, and I guess I'm playing with the idea of the unintentional somewhat here. Relinquishing control, sort of being on this, vehicle that doesn't stop necessarily. Anyway, lots of work to be done on it, and I do want to integrate some element of time. I've been playing with darkening and lightening and the colors evolving over long periods of time. So you would buy a leg of a journey and then it would evolve. But we'll see where that takes us. So yeah, thanks so much, everyone. I loved hearing your thoughts.
Thank you, Emily. I'm starting to see a pattern. I'm sure you guys see it too. Trying to find unintentional acts through intentional ones. This seems to be a theme, especially with this cohort, that we are all just trying to find something that we don't know what we're going to come across. And I think this is caught very well in your work, Emily. I mean, capturing a moment, an interesting backstory as well, from New York to Vermont. I don't know. There's a sentiment, now that you've mentioned it. There's like a sentimental layer to this piece as well, and it's quite nice for us just to be able to pause it. What a perfect kind of solution. and it's very kind of, it is quite personal, you know. And yeah, so yeah, just gorgeous. I mean, does anybody have any final comments for Emily? Actually, Emily, I'd be curious, why 3 palettes, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, I see. Right.
And
No worries.
I think these are just placeholders. I'm not
Okay.
sure I'm fond of these, and I don't have an overall concept for
Mm.
palettes just yet. So that's just part of the work in progress. There's so much to do. I mean, I want all the elements to be randomly selected and there to be a lot more of them. And yeah, no, it's just, I'm just getting started, or maybe mid-journey. I mean, that word's loaded at this point, not mid-journey.
We get
In
what
the
you
middle
mean.
of the journey, okay? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting, because yeah, I just feel that was very intentional. Like, and it's a work in progress, but you could have completely got that one over me. Pavel also really enjoys the palettes. Interesting comment from Anton. Sometimes Anton wants it to be slower and not being full speed so fast. So yeah, perhaps as you say, there's some scope to do with the speed of this work as well. Maybe, yeah, like a different changes in the train's journey and the pace of it. That would be very, very cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Adding that kind of time effect as well. That would be groovy. So I'm just gonna give it one more minute, and then we're gonna round up the session. It could change with every stop. I mean, yeah. I mean, now we're really getting into the ideas behind the work. Lights on the signs at night. Yeah, I mean, I think the shapes, the outlines of buildings have been captured very well. At least from what the contours suggest, which is really quite interesting. Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm gonna get dragged into this. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. And thank you, Emily. That has been a wonderful roundup of today's session. Yeah, and thank you so much, everyone. I'm just gonna stop my streaming. And just have a last comment, I suppose. Thank you for joining me on this like crypto art critique session. It's been really lovely hanging out with all you guys and talking about your art. You know, this is the privilege of art making. Just sharing ideas, and we don't do enough of it really anywhere in any kind of art setting. So this has been really, really cool. I know there's a few of you guys that are waiting on me to respond to your one-to-one requests. I've just had a mental time, so I will reply to you, and we'll get something set up before the end of the critique. But as a summary, I hope the ideas from these sessions have like kind of maybe some collaborative efforts or any kind of research you might want to do have kind of taken effect. And yeah, I hope I'll be there for your exhibition at the end and auction. And yeah, you've been wonderful. And let's keep in touch. You know, I'd be excited sometimes to jump in to your Friday calls as well, because that sounds really cool. Keep up the critique. You know, keep it up. So yeah.
Thank you, Harry.
Yeah, have a delightful rest of the day, everybody. Take care.